What's up, everyone? Today we have Steve here, who's done over 200K in payouts with prop firms, and he's done over 15K with Blue Guardian alone as well. Today I'm going to be going over how he was able to do that and the strategy behind how he was trading. Also, we're going to talk about how he mastered his trading psychology, and we're going to talk about the different troubles that he may have faced on the way. So welcome, Steve. Thanks for chatting with me today, man.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
I wanted to start off by just asking how you got started with trading. What got you into the game?
Well, my story is a little bit different compared to other ones. You know, when I moved to America, coming from a third world country, everybody back home expects so much from you. Everybody needs help, extended family. So I was working 80 to 90 hours a week, Saturdays, Sunday, working 2 jobs, overtime. So I was constantly working. Sometimes I'm sleeping on the road driving. So I got to a point where I'm like, you know what? I have to find something else that can bring me money, where I don't have to be there all the time. You know what I mean? So before I went to Forex, I was already doing crypto, like buying meme coins and all that. But that didn't work out for me. But 2023, when I heard about programs, I looked into it. They say you can get paid bi-weekly or even weekly. I'm like, okay, I like this. I need something that can bring me money on a weekly basis or even monthly. I like that. So when I researched about programs, the rules and everything, I went to YouTube to learn about strategy on how to trade Forex market, the system that I could use. That was when I came across ICT. I watched a couple of his videos, and I was lucky. I don't know if I was lucky, but I know a little bit of luck. But I was studying too. I put in the work. I found my strategy pretty at my early age of switching into Forex. So I found ICT. I took about like 3 or 4 concepts in his video that really works for me, and I stick to that. But whenever I found my strategy, I had to struggle with psychology too. So, having strategy is one thing. Having the psychology to follow your rules, stick to them, is another thing.
Right, and like you moved from Nigeria. So, for a lot of people that move from like a third world country, what I found is that a lot of people have like a mindset of they've been given like this opportunity and they need to like take it by the horns and do really well. I feel like the mindset is different. Do you think that mindset kind of like added to your success in trading?
Of course. When you come from a third world country, your mindset is, I'm here now, I can't mess it up. You have better opportunity. There's no excuses. And you have a lot of people in your shoulder extending their hands. So you can't really give out excuses because you live in a country with opportunities now to work. So that kind of like put me in the pressure to, keep doing what I was doing, keep studying, keep researching. So it plays a very important role to my success in trading. Definitely.
On that note, like how did making over 200K with prop firms actually change your life?
Oh, amazing. Now I can, I don't work overtimes no more. I don't work on my weekends no more. So now I'm actually helping my families out. I'm also living my life too. So I can take a trip now. I can travel around. I can go eat out whenever I want. I wasn't able to do all this before, but now that I'm making money with profit, I have more time to myself now. I can take care of myself, take a little trip out there with my boys. So it feels amazing. It's a beautiful feeling. It feels amazing.
Awesome, bro. Congratulations. So I just wanted to ask, like, for a lot of people that we chat to on here, a lot of them say the same thing. And that is that when they started trading with prop firms, their mentality switched and they started to become a lot more profitable because it's more like trading professionally, where you are trading a certain amount of percent per trade, and you have to stick to certain rules. Did you find that having these rules made you a much more profitable trader?
The fun thing, I had this argument with somebody in the past about trading with profit and trading with your capital. Before profit, I traded with my capital, and I had time where I take a trade is going against me. I start crying, I start crashing out, and whenever I lose that trade, I'll break my laptop. But when I switched to profit, it made me more disciplined. because you have these rules set aside for you that you have to follow this rule to actually get a payout. So yes, a lot of people that trade, I tell people all the time, if you can handle profit, you probably won't be able to manage your personal fund. Anybody that can trade profit and pass and get a payout can manage their personal fund correctly. So those guidelines, those rules that they place out there actually helps you stay on track, stick to your rules, and being able to control yourself when you're in a trade. So yeah, it definitely helps. It switches your mind. You have to, because there's no other way you can't be consistently profitable, getting payouts without being disciplined, without sticking to the rules.
And when you trade prop firm accounts, how do you approach the evaluation stage versus the actual live funded account stage?
Okay, at the early age, it was a different approach, but now that I have the system, a profitable system that give me 70 to 80% win rate, and now that I'm more and more disciplined to my rules, so my approach to evaluation is different compared to the live account. When I get to the first stage of the evaluation, I'm risking about 2% to make 4%, but it has to be A+ setups. I try to trade once in a day, one section once a day. So I have to see my A setups. Once my A setups show up, I'm gonna take that trade 2% to make risk 1% to make 2%, right? So it takes me about like 2 or 3 trades to pass my first evaluation. So if I see my A setup, I might take 1 or 2% risks, which should put me at, if I win that trade, I like to stick to 1:2 or maximum 1:3. I don't like to stay in the market too long. Get in and get out. 1:2 is the best for me. It also helps with my psychology, where I don't have to keep looking at the chart all day. So when I do 2% to make 4%, so if that plays out, now I have to make another 2%, right? So if I take that first trade, and I'll have a risk 2% to make 4%, and the next day I risk another 2% to make 4%. That's 8% right there. And when it comes to the second stage, I slow it down a little bit. I try to stay within 1% or 1.5. With 2 or 3 trades, I'm going to pass that. Evaluation funded stage is a little bit different. My early age once I get funded, I will get excited. The first thing that will come to your mind is, I need to make 50,000. I need to make this. I need to make that. But now it's a little bit awkward, because once you get to that funded stage is when you want to slow down. You want to take a deep breath or stay back a little bit, because you get excited. Oh, I'm about to get a payout. And that's a lot of problem people have today. They get excited, they start increasing their leverage until they take that first loss. It messes up their psychology. I'm like, oh my God, how can I get it back? So over the time, I've become disciplined and built a very simple approach that can help me stay longer. So once I get to that funded stage, I try to make it I take 1% risks. That's why I only trade one section in a day. Once I hit that 1%, I'm done for that day. So only London section. I wait for my A setup. I don't take random trade on my funded account. It has to be A setups only. If I don't see my A setup, I'm going to go back to my sleep or go about my day, turn off my computer. So if I take that 1%, aiming for 1:2 or 3, if it's clean. So that will put me about like 3%, right? So now that I have 3%, the next day I can increase my risk to 1.5. So if I take a loss on that trade and I lose 1.5, I'm going to come back to 1%. So this is the approach that helps me. Once I make a little bit profit, I increase. So I try not to go over more than 10% on my account, because you can always buy another account and start all over. I always tell people, get your money out. I treat it like an investment. If I put a $500 in the market and I'm up then 1,000 or 2,000, I want to get my initial capital out and put my profit by the side. Then I'll take some little money from my profit and invest in the market. So this is the approach I've built over time into traveling programs and accounts. So that has really helped me into buying multiple accounts and just losing them. I had the issue at my early age of trading. I was able to find my system, but my approach was very bad. I would get a payout, and the next thing that will come to your mind is, let me scale up. And then you buy more account, increase leverage, and just lose them more. So once I get 400, I take a chill. I probably won't trade that same day I got that account. I'll come back the next day with a clear mind, more relaxed. So I'll take 1%, make up like 1 to 30%, increase my leverage to 1.5. Once I get to 10% maximum, I'll start trading that account till I request my payout. I can get another account and start trading.
I think one of the biggest things that people struggle with the most in trading is fear of missing out on trades. So getting into trades that they shouldn't be in. And then also they get greedy, right? So, and this is obviously much more prevalent in people that have just passed their evaluation. They're seeing dollar signs in their eyes. As soon as they get that live funded account, they're like, I'm going to make tons of money. And then they end up combining the fear of missing out with the greed. So they end up getting into trades they're not supposed to get into, and then trying to hold those trades for longer than they're supposed to, not sticking to their plan. Did you see like that same kind of pattern in your trading? And how did you overcome that?
Mine was worse. It was worse because I get angry so easily. So, at my early, I broke like 3 of my laptops, and I broke one of my computer. It was bad. I'm not very honest, it was bad. So I had to fix my life outside trading. People think you can just go watch some YouTube motivational video and think you can become disciplined the next day. They go watch some video and they come to the mirror like, I'm gonna be disciplined the next day. You don't work like that. I struggle with that. Like I said earlier, I was able to find my system because I was consistently studying till I found my system. But I had to deal with the psychology of staying disciplined. What I mean is, I know I get my A set up doing London section, but I always want to trade. I want to place to trade even before my setup plays out. So the fear of missing out was always there. So I would click a button. I always want to click a buy because I'm funded. I want to make money every time. So that dealt with me for a very long time. So I have to overcome that. And one of the steps I took to overcome those challenges was, fixing my life outside trading. And I was getting too emotional. People say don't be emotional. You can't be emotionless because you're human. This is what makes us human. But you can learn how to regulate them. You can learn how to put your emotions in check, right? Like I said, over the time I've built this discipline habit. Before my life was reckless. I would wake up scrolling the phone all the time. Wake up without cleaning my belt, go about my day. So I read this book, Atomic Habits. It shows you how you can make little improvement on a daily basis that can build up over time. So this is how you build discipline. You can't just wake up in the morning and say, oh, you know what, I'm gonna be disciplined from tomorrow. No, it's not a rocket science. It's something that you build over time. So over the time, I've built this system that helps me keep staying track. I trade one system, I trade one section, I stick to my rules, right? And if I come to the market and I don't see my setup, I'm gonna switch off my computer immediately without second thought and go do something else. Because once you start staring at that chart, your brain is gonna tell you, oh man, take this setup, you can't miss this money. The market is not running away. There will always be opportunity, right? All the time. Well, last year I was getting payout, but I wasn't consistently profitable. But this year I've had payout throughout all the months. That's consistency, except for 2 months that was bad, right? And that month that it was bad, I was able to notice that the market condition wasn't good. So what I did was I stayed back. I went like a 2 weeks or 3 weeks without trading because I had a losing week for like a week. I never had that throughout this year. So when I noticed that, I shut off my computer. You know what? I'm just gonna take like a couple weeks off. You need to understand when market condition is bad for your system. You need to understand, it's not for me. The market is not running away. There will always be opportunities. You can always come back tomorrow. You can always come back next week. You cannot. And now I've had time where like my funded account, I don't even want to take more than 3 or 4 trades on my funded account. I take 1 or 2 trades My last payout that I just got, I had 100% win rate on it. Only 3 trades, beautiful trade, no losses. I'm not saying you can't take losses, it happens, right? My job as a trader is to come, if I come to the market and I see my setup, follow my risks, parameters, set my stop loss and my TP, govern my day. If it hits stop loss or TP is not my business. This is a business of probability, right? Your job is to follow your system, execute without fear, right? So even if I take a loss, I know I will always get back. I know I will always come back. Excuse me. I know I can always get it back. So you have to build those habits. You don't build discipline overnight. You don't just wake up and say, oh, I'll be disciplined. No. Is your life, how is your life outside trading? How do you operate outside trading? Are you a rational person? It's gonna show up on your chart when you get on the market. So go outside trading, fix your life, start building little habits that can help you stay disciplined. Before I used to be overweight, like I'm talking about like 300 pounds, 260 overweight. So I started, working out, staying clean, eating good, taking care of myself. And over time, without even me noticing, over time, I noticed that I'm actually doing well on the chart now. I'm actually staying disciplined in the market. I'm actually doing what I said I would do. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I went through all the stages that every trader told you. I had times where I would use my rent money and trade, and the market is going against me. Instead of me to close, I'll start praying. And when I look down, when I start crying and breaking things up. So I went through those emotions. So over time, I had to, be honest with myself. You can't blame the market or blame people around you or look for something to blame. No, it's you. It's you. Sometimes people have that strategy, but their psychology, their mindset, their approach is what is kicking them back. And they go back in the market looking for a new system. Oh, maybe it's the strategy. No, it's not the strategy. Every system out there works. Support and resistance works. Demand and supply works. It's how you approach it. It's your discipline or psychology. How do you react when you're in the market? How do you react when market is going against you? So
yeah, I think that's one of the common threads that I see when I talk to people on here, and a lot of the traders that I've spoken to, is that the journey is difficult, and it's generally one of the most difficult journeys that person has ever gone on in their lives. It certainly was for me. It was almost the end of me, honestly, because it pushes you to your limit, right? It takes you to a place you've never been to before. And if you're able to push through, then you get these results. You get the results, you get the success, and you start to make really good money, right? And it's not just that though, it's making a lot of personal progress and a lot of personal growth that gets you through that point. That's why a lot of people don't make it long term. It's because they're not willing to push through that really, really difficult period of self-development and growth that you have to get through in order to be successful at trading, because it will push you to a place you've never been to before. What I would be curious to know from your perspective is, what do you think the hardest thing is? What do you think the thing is that people mess up on the most, that ends up getting them to stop trading? Because as we know, 90% of people give up at this. 95% of people don't make it to being profitable. What is the biggest thing that you think trips people up on becoming profitable, in your view?
When I started making all this payout, people would come back and say, do you sell calls? I told them I will never sell a cause. I don't even want to teach anybody. I don't even like telling people that I trade anymore because it's hard. It is hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is hard. I don't want to teach nobody. I don't want nobody to go through the emotions that I went through. It's scary. I had times that I almost wanted to take my life away because trading is going to test you. It's going to test you on a whole different level. So I think what kept me going was my why. My reason why I was doing it. That was one thing that kept me pushing, because if your why is not strong, you're gonna give up. If you're coming into the market because you see some guy driving flashy cars, some guy showing lavish life on the social media, you know what? And he tells you I'm a trader. And these are some of these guys, they don't even make their money from trading. The real people that trade knows trading. No, they know what you're gonna go through. You know, people see this lifestyle on social media, they get too excited, you know. They say, you know what, I'm gonna join trading because I wanna buy Lamborghini. Of course, you can make it to that level, but if that's your initial reason, most of the time you're not gonna sustain, you're not gonna stay too long because you wanna make fast money. You know, and when you have a fast money mindset, is what that means is you will see more than you can lose. You know, you taking trade all the time. You want to make as much money as you can. No, you don't. You know. Your reason, for me, my reason was very strong. You know, and on the process of trading, I dropped out of college, so I know like if trading don't work, I'm cooked. If trading don't work, I'm cooked. I'm gonna work for somebody the rest of my life. I'm not. That's not what I want. So I had to keep going, even when things. I was like, you know, I've lost everything. I lost my parents when I was young. I'm like, I've lost everything. I don't care no more. I don't care if I die in this process. I was locked in. I went a whole year on my shot without missing my shot every single day. I don't go to club, party, and none of that. People are not willing to put in the work. And the crazy thing was, I was going to work, right? I had a job. I would work 12 hours, come back around 1 a.m. in Texas time, and New York market started at 2 a.m. So I'll be off from 1 a.m. to like 4 a.m. I would go to bed from 4 a.m. and woke up around 7:30 in the morning to go to the gym, right? Or do all this stuff. So I'm having like 3 or 4 hours sleep. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people don't see the sacrifice, but they see my parents, they get, oh my God, you're so lucky. Yes, I'm lucky. Yeah, you have to. My reason was strong. My why was strong. I know this is it for me. I'm like, yeah, if these don't work out, I'm done. I'm really cooked in life. This was the only option left for me because I don't want to work the rest of my. I've always worked my entire life because I'm the first son. So, like, if you're from a third world country and you know what it means, you have to work. Like even at a young age, I never like been to a prom, vacation, none of that. Holidays, my holidays, I'll go back home. I'm always working. So I'm like, you know what? I'm tired. I've been working all my life. I want to live life like everybody else. The little things like that. I appreciate, you know, the freedom. Maybe I wasn't after the flashy cars, you know, and the lavish lifestyle. Those are nice. They make you excited. That's cool. And for me, I want the freedom. I want to be able to sleep in my bed and wake up when I like. I want to be able to take an 8 hours nap or sleep. Because when I first came here, I was taking 2-3 hours because I had 2 jobs. So now I can take 8 or 9, 10 hours sleep. So I wake up saying, I'm grateful, thank you. This is freedom, this is what I want. I can go to a restaurant right now and sit and eat some nice meal. I can take a little trip within the city or out of state. And I'm grateful, my wife was strong. And my families are good. My siblings are good. They're in the best school right now, even though I dropped out. I make sure they're in the best school. So my reason was there. It was very strong. There's no way I would have given up. And even before trading, I've tried so many other things like drop shipping, affiliate marketing, YouTubing, and all that. I've tried them all and I gave up. So I'm like, you know what? When I started trading, I had one of my biggest payouts. I'm like, okay, this works. This works. All I have to do is stick to it, stay consistent, and build a discipline habit that can actually prolong the journey. So, you know what, I love paying. I kept, even till now, I still show up every day. I don't necessarily have to trade every day, but I come in the market and I ask myself, why did this market do this? Why did it move this? Market is not random. I can argue this with anybody at any time. And a lot of people, they take losses and they get angry and walk away. When I take a loss, I go back to the market and see what I did wrong. How can I improve? How can I do better? But if I followed my system and I take a loss, I'm cool with that. I'm definitely fine with that. So yeah, my reason was very, very strong. There's no way I could have given. I know this was it for me. And this is what I want to do. And I like it even though it's hard. There's a saying, it's the hardest way to make easy money. But yeah. I don't want to put anybody through it because traumatizing, like the anxiety of, you know, you see your trade, the early age of trading, you see your trade going against, you start panicking. Even when the weather is cold, you're sweating up and down. You're like, what's going on? Your hand is slippery. You start shaking and stuff. Oh my God, I went through all that. Mine was very bad. But yeah, I'm very grateful for trading. It's changed my life. While I was just talking to you, I just got a notification of a payout right now. So it's a beautiful thing that I can't even. I tell people that follow me on my IG, I don't sell cars. I say, if you really want this, you gotta stick to it. Once you start getting that consistent payout, it's a feeling that nobody can explain to you. Once you get it, oh, this is real. You don't even need nobody to convince you anymore. You're seeing result. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to it. Keep showing up. Easy.
Like you're saying, you've tried out a whole bunch of different things on the way to finding trading, and starting to see success with trading. You tried drop shipping, you tried affiliate marketing, you tried YouTubing, you tried all of those different things, and then you found trading. What was the thing about trading that made you stick with trading and make that your thing? Because for me, I also tried a whole bunch of stuff, and when I discovered trading, it was like, this is it. I know this is the thing that's gonna make my life completely different from now on. What made you feel that way about trading?
Well, I've worked a lot of corporate jobs, and I've seen our condition. I'm a very hardworking person. My work ethic. When you come from a town, you gotta work because they're paying you. And don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful for my jobs because they sponsored my career. But I've seen some things that made me question myself. Like, you can have coworkers that don't do nothing. And you have yourself that doing 2 times, 3 times of the work. And me, I don't know how to pretend not to work. I'm gonna work, right? I don't know how to pretend or go hide somewhere not doing. I've seen people do nothing and they get paid the same thing I get paid. So that kind of like, I start questioning some things like, is this corporate job really for me? Because it's not fair treatment, I would like to get rewarded based off my hard work, right? I'm not gonna work more than the next guy, and they want me to pretend and just don't do no work. No, that's not how I was brought up. So I started understanding this pattern with a corporate job. I'm like, you know what? I have to find something that actually I don't have to deal with people. And I'm not a social guy. I don't, like being around people a lot of the time. I don't like, I like trading is the best because like I don't have to deal with nobody. It's just me and my child, yo. It's a beautiful feeling. I get excited when I talk about it. I can't give up on trading. It's a beautiful feeling, being able to make money without, hey boss, can I do this? Can I take today off? You don't have to report to nobody. Even though yes, we trade with profit, but you still have this option to move around or you don't need permission to quit. You can quit anytime you want. So it's I think one of the main things that made me stick to trading after trying other things was I don't have to deal with people. That don't mean I hate people, but I've seen so many dramas at the workplace that I don't ever want to deal. You know what I mean? People trying to harass you because you're being yourself, and people don't like it because you work hard. And I'm not good at pretending. This is how I was brought up, to work hard. I'm gonna work, and so seeing all this, I'm like, I have to trade and work trading because now I can make money without a boss. And sometimes you can't get some days off. If I need, you can have emergency right now. Maybe your daughter is sick. Your job still won't care. They won't give you that day off. So and it's just after their money. I get it. It's just the way the system is. So it's left for you to make that decision if you want to stick to it. I've worked with people that complain about it all year, but they never make any difference. I'm like, okay, what are you doing to make that change in your life? For me, it's like, trading. Trading is my way out. It's definitely my way out. I don't want to deal with no drama or being able, I imagine myself having kids or wife, and then my daughter is sick, I can't leave job and go take care of them because my job will point me out or probably fire me if I don't show up at work. So, I imagine these things in my head happen. I'm like, you know what? No, this is not the lifestyle I want to live as a family man. I want to be able to be there for my kids, my wife, my family at any time and point. So definitely just, that freedom. Trading offers you, imagine being on vacation, being able to make money too. There's no skill set that can give you that opportunity. I think it's the greatest skill set, even though it's hard. Yes, I love it. Being able to, it can be anywhere in the world and just, make money. It's a beautiful feeling. I love it.
Awesome, bro. Yeah, look, I mean, like, there is nothing like trading. You don't have to deal with people. It's awesome. And that's one of the things that I liked as well. You don't need to rely on anybody else except yourself, right? Nobody else can mess it up for you. It's just you and you are competing with yourself. You're not looking at other people's results really, unless you're on social media all the time, which I don't recommend. So the beautiful thing is that you're able to basically print money out of nowhere, which is not something any other profession can do, which is absolutely amazing. You said you trade ICT, and there's a lot of people that have a lot of hate about ICT for some reason. What would you say to those people that have a lot of hate about ICT, and what made you decide to trade that way?
When people like that come across my page, my response is, people spend a lot of time on social media looking at people's life. It's never my thing, I ask them this question: if this thing puts money in your pocket, it puts food on your table, it feeds your family. Who cares, brother? Who cares? It works for me. If you don't work for it, it's fine. I'm not gonna sit up here and argue with you about strategy that works or not. I tell people, man, whatever works for you, do your thing. You know what I mean? That's why, I'm not a greedy person. I make 10, 15, or 20K, 30K in a month. I'm very grateful. I know where I came from. Nobody in my family has ever made 10K in a year, right? And now I can make 10, 20, 30K in a month. Brother, it works for me. I have nothing to prove to you. You're on your own. You want to act, that's cool though. Y'all can do all that argument on social media. Yes, instead of you to go and making money, you want to argue about ICTs, this. And plus, it's free. I watched this video for free on YouTube. Even if it didn't work for me, the only thing I have to do is move on, go try something else. It's just, what is the point? Like, people have so much time and sit down and argue about, these ICTs, the fraud is this. Like I said, I don't care about his personal life. I will always be grateful for this man because the system is putting money in my bank, it's putting food on my table, it's taking care of my family. I'm grateful, And I think the misconception is that people think just watching an ICT video is going to make you profitable. No. Even if you go watch demand and supply videos, you won't be profitable off just watching videos on YouTube. You have to backtest and see if this actually works for you. When I watch ICT video, I tried it on New York section, tried on Asian section, tried on London section. I found that London section was where most of my A setup shows up. So I stick to that. A lot of people don't want to put me in no work. I still get a lot of DM in my which particular ICT video should I watch? I'm like, dude, you really don't want to put in work. You want to be everything laid flat on your table so you can eat. The source is already there. All you got to do, go look at it. Put in the work. And people can hate on demand. I don't pay attention on social media. I'm not a big fan of staying on social media, going back and forth with people. I care about putting food on my table, brother. I care about getting that payout, consistent payout, staying on my lane. It's not my thing. It works for me. I'm sorry if it doesn't work for you. That's okay. Just instead of you sitting around hating on the man, you can probably go learn another system. Maybe trading is not for you. And I tell people all the time, trading is not for everybody. It's definitely not for everybody. It's hard. It's hard. If you're not willing to go through those challenges, brother, find something else. We need people to flip our burger. No disrespect, but that's the truth. If you're not willing to put in there, pour hard work, go through those pains, it's not for you. In strategy, there's plenty of them out there. If ICT don't work, go learn IC, what they call them, ICC. There's supply and demand, there's trend line. Before I found ICT, I was working with trend line. trend line was powerful, it was making me money, but I noticed it only works on a bigger time frame for me. On a smaller time frame, it doesn't give me that edge. So I'm like, okay, ICT is better. I'm gonna stick to this. So split strategy works. It works. It's just you are the problem. You want to sit on the internet and argue about this and that. No, it's not me. I don't even argue with people about something that works for me.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to realize is that trading is not for everyone, like you said. Like, some people just don't have, like you said as well, the strong enough why to get involved. Because if you don't have the strong enough reason to go through all the difficulties you're gonna go through to try and become profitable, there's no way in hell you're gonna stick with it. But let's say you do have the strong enough reason to keep going, right? Let's say you do have the strong enough why, you have the motivation, and you wanted to start and you wanted to get there as efficiently as possible. What is the process you would recommend to a person that's wanting to start and go from A to Z in becoming a profitable trader? What are some of the mistakes they could avoid on the process as well?
The first thing I'll do is I'll let them straight up what they're getting into. I'm not gonna tell you this superpower or you're gonna make some amount of money. I'm gonna tell you straight up what you're about to get yourself into. You're gonna lose money. Trading is the only skill set that every single mistake you make, it will cost you money. Every time you go against your rule, it will cost you money. This is the only skill set. Every single mistake costs you $1, right? I'll tell you, so you're gonna lose money. There's no two ways about it. You will lose probably everything that you've worked for, and you will cry heartbroken. Are you okay with it? But it's gonna pay off though. As long as you stick to it, it's gonna pay off. And so the first mistake that I made was not going through demo. So I always tell people, play with demo account even though demo account doesn't be that reality of live account. It's not definitely the same, but just play around with it. Understand how this market moves, and just imagine yourself like you're trading your real money, your hard-earned money, and see if you can handle it, right? And if you're already disciplined in real life outside trading, your journey will be much more easier. Focus on building discipline outside trading. How is your daily habit like? What do you do on your daily basis? Are you the type that wakes up and go watch porn immediately? Are you the type that just scroll on your phone all day and just waiting for miracle to happen overnight? No, you need to build this book, Atomic Habits, and I have another one too that has really helped me build up my habit over time. Before my life was a wreck, I wake up, I do some crazy stuff, but yeah, you have to build habit outside trading. And when you're disciplined in real life, it becomes much more easier to stick to your rules in the chart. And also, finding your system is another thing. Then once you find your system, you have to deal with the psychological part of it. You have to deal with these things. So that was the difference between last year and this year. Last year I was profitable, but I wasn't consistent. It's two different things. Let's not get it wrong. Anybody can get a payout. Anybody can go blow $10,000 on evaluation, and they pass one and they get $2,000 payout. They'll post and say, "Oh, I just made a payout. I'm profitable. I'm that guy." Meanwhile, you've lost over $10,000, right? So this year alone, I've had consistent payout throughout the year, except for 1 month that was bad for me. So that's the difference between being consistent and being profitable. So don't get it just because you find your system and you made profit, you get too excited like I've arrived. No, but are you consistent though? So you're gonna make payout. You need to build a habit of sticking to those rules that got you there, right? I did this and I did that made me this payout. Now I have to stick to it. And take notes. If you have to write things down, write it down. This is very important. Write it down. I pay very attention to my trades. If I tell you, a lot of people take loss. And one mistake, another thing that helped me grow, because people think I got this place just by watching ICT video. No, ICT video helped me, but my experience in the market also plays a role, right? For example, if I take a trade and I come back and I see that trade is a loss, I'm gonna go back to that trade and see what I did wrong. I'll write things down. How can I make a better move next time? maybe I should wait. Maybe I took that trade before my section begin. Okay, maybe next time I'll just wait for the section to show up before I take this trade. So these little things, they matter a lot. They plays a very important role to your building a consistent habit. Little habit will build up into bigger improvement. So these things, discipline, people talk about this. It's very big in trading. It's very, very big in trading. Just having a profitable system is not enough. You have to build out a strong psychology, and you can't be emotional. You need your emotion. We are humans. There's no way you can kill your emotion, but we can always build a way to regulate them, a way to, like myself, I understand, I understand my weak points. So when I take that loss, 1 or 2 losses, I shut my computer down immediately. There's no second thoughts. Once you start staring at that chart, if you take a loss, take another one, you're like, this is the perfect strategy. You know what? This is the one. This is the one that will recover my losses and make me profit. And what will happen is you will increase your leverage, trying to recover your loss to break it and make extra profit. And 90% of the time, you lose that trade and blow your account. So learn how to walk away. Understand yourself and understand your emotional level as a human being. You as yourself, I can't tell how you regulate your emotion. Me, I understand my weak points, right? So I know, like, when I overtrade or when I take 2 losses in a row, I get upset. I would like to go, so I shut my computer down. I go take a walk, go do something. There's so many things to do. Market is not running away. I wish I understand it at my early age. Market is always here. Next year, they've been here for thousands of years. It's not, all the opportunity is not gonna come in one day. That trade is not gonna make, that one trade you're trying to take is not gonna make you a millionaire. So relax. Always learn how to take a chill, walk away, come back tomorrow. Always be opportunity next week, next month. So have this back in your mind that trading opportunities is countless. Don't let one trade determine your trading career. Don't let that one trade ruin your account that you try to pass for the past 2 weeks. I've been there where I passed evaluations, got excited, and blow the account the same day. I've had a time where I was up 17,000 and I took 1% loss and I blew the entire account. I've been there. I've done all these things. So that's why I tell people, you gotta take a chill. Don't get too excited once you get funded. I've had my homeboys too that I told them, stop trading this account. You're already up in profit. Wait for your payout. Get your money out, and the less is risk free. They went back and they blew their account. I told you. This is experience. That's why I tell people, the more just buying these courses is not really gonna help you a lot. Your experience, your mistakes in the market will help you build yourself as time goes on. Pay attention to the mistakes you make. You can't make a mistake and go back the same day, repeat the same thing over and over again. You are not improving. You have to pay very close attention to every single details, every single error you make, because it's costing you money. So definitely, that.
Yeah, 100%. Those are honestly the most solid words of advice that I think we've had on Blue Guardian so far. If you guys actually listen to what Steve is saying, and you action some of the points that he has mentioned, there's really no reason that you can't replicate the kind of success that he's made. And notice as well that he's speaking mostly about things that you need to get right in your personal life, and things that you need to get right in your psychological approach to trading. Because make no mistake, psychological factors are the things that will get you to become profitable. Your strategy doesn't really matter unless it's profitable. Even if it's the most profitable strategy in the world, you're not going to be profitable if you can't stick to it. And what's going to get you to stick to it is your trading psychology. And a lot of what Steve is saying is where people really fall is your psychological ability to follow through on what you're doing and stick to one thing. I think that's probably the biggest factor in you becoming a successful trader or not. At least that's what, that's one of the things that I think Steve has really spoken about most. And this is one of the key things that I've taken away from a lot of people that I've spoken to. So Steve, thank you very much for chatting with us today, man. I think everybody who watched this is going to learn a lot. So thank you very much for chatting with us. Thank you everybody for watching this trader interview. We will be back with another one next week. So if you haven't yet, please do like this video and subscribe to the Blue Guardian channel down below. Cheers everyone. We'll see you in the next one.